Oil prices swung wildly on Monday as panic hit the global energy markets. Brent crude plummeted 10.9% in a single day, dropping rapidly from its recent highs to settle just under $100 a barrel. The trigger for this sharp liquidation? A post on Truth Social. President Donald Trump claimed he had ordered the Pentagon to delay military strikes on Iranian power plants for 5 days, stating the two countries were holding productive conversations to end the war. But Tehran instantly shut that down. Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, publicly dismissed the reports as fake news, stating the rumors were manufactured specifically to manipulate financial and oil markets. This sudden back and forth is creating a deliberate fog of war. And while Wall Street reacts to every conflicting signal, that diplomatic noise is masking a structural economic threat that stretches far beyond the Middle East. The physical stakes on the ground are severe. Trump had recently threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants if they didn't reopen the Gulf. In response, Iran warned they would target U.S.-affiliated energy and desalination plants. Desalination plants are expansive industrial complexes that remove salt from seawater, and they provide 60% of the entire region's drinking water. That catastrophic threat has triggered a desperate scramble. Regional powers like Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan have stepped in as mediators, trying to talk both sides off the ledge before a total military escalation destroys the Gulf's critical infrastructure. This chart shows the steep 40% upward trend in global oil prices since the U.S.-Israeli military campaign began in late February. Despite the rumors of peace talks and 5-day pauses, the economic damage is already done. The International Energy Agency has classified this as the largest oil supply disruption in human history. That is exactly why global markets hang on every single contradictory tweet. The crisis centers on the Strait of Hormuz, a 33-kilometer bottleneck between Iran and the GCC, an economic union including Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Iran closed this gap, severing a pipeline carrying 1/5 of the world's oil. This bar chart reveals how vulnerable major Asian economies are to this blockade. India relies on this route for 60. American financial hegemony relies heavily on the petrodollar system, a deal struck in the 1970s. Under this arrangement, major Middle Eastern countries agreed to sell their oil exclusively in US dollars in exchange for American military protection. China actively subverts that dollar dominance. Because Iran is heavily sanctioned by Washington, it sells oil below market value. Chinese companies buy up to 1.5 million barrels of this cheap oil every day, often using extensive regional banking networks to bypass the US dollar entirely. That pipeline of cheap, reliable energy is the engine driving China's manufacturing sector. It keeps their production costs low and secures their dominant position in global trade. The aggressive U.S. military action in the Gulf functions as violent kinetic enforcement of those economic sanctions. Washington is demonstrating that breaking American financial rules has devastating physical consequences. By squeezing Iran, Washington indirectly chokes off China's most reliable energy pipeline. Beijing is forced into a brutal choice: comply with U.S. financial systems or face economic strangulation. The bombardment of Iran serves as a violent testing ground to determine if the US dollar can maintain its absolute supremacy over global trade. Trump's 5-day pause functions as a strategic retreat while financial pressures mount. The pressure from Wall Street to reopen the strait is becoming too heavy for the administration to ignore. But weaponizing the dollar has a significant side effect. It is accelerating China's drive to build non-Western financial alliances, primarily through BRICS. BRICS is an intergovernmental organization originally comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, designed to give developing economies an alternative to Western-controlled institutions. Without access to cheap Iranian oil, China's military logistics would be severely crippled. If their energy supply is constrained, Beijing would struggle to fuel the wide-scale naval operations required for any future invasion of Taiwan. That is the ultimate strategic prize for Washington. If the United States successfully neutralizes Iran, it secures total control over the region's energy flow and effectively caps China's rise as a rival superpower. The contradictory tweets and sudden market crashes we see today are just surface tremors. Ultimately, whoever controls the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz
dictates the reigning global economic order.